Good morning, Ambassador Hill. Thank you for appearing. A question about the status of Iraqi religious minorities. What is the security situation for the Chaldean Rite Christians, Yazidis, Mandeans, remnant Jewish populations? And then beyond that, is there appropriate movement of them into representative governance positions, an embrace of their rights within both central as well as provincial governments?
Mr. Congressman, I met with the leaders of the Christian minorities soon after I arrived in Iraq. It's an issue of great interest to us. And the purpose of meeting with them was to monitor precisely how they regard the situation on this. Obviously, it has been a difficult time for Christian minorities, and you probably heard a few weeks ago that there were bombings of about 7 churches, mainly in the Baghdad area. My purpose in meeting with them was to assure or to find out how they feel their relations with the government are, and whether the government is actively doing things to assist them. They have had police protection. Indeed, our forces have been helpful to them, in some cases actually giving them physical barriers, as we do have for many of our facilities. The religious leaders expressed concern, especially the Christian religious leaders, expressed concern that many of their members have taken advantage of immigration programs to leave Iraq and to live in other countries, including in Western Europe. Especially Western Europe, and many of these religious leaders were very concerned that this process is resulting in a reduction in their numbers. I was talking to a Catholic priest there who reported on the number of baptisms he was having, but also reported on the fact that many young adults were leaving. So it's a big concern there, and I think it's something that we need to be very much vigilant on and very active with. After the bombings, I went and visited the Chaldean cardinal there to express my concerns to him. It was interesting. He didn't want me to go to the actual churches, which I was prepared to do, because he was concerned that we would be attracting attention and therefore possibly further violence. That's a sign, I think, of how pragmatic he's trying to be, but I think it's also a sign of the problems that really exist, that a visit to a U.S. ambassador to a church could actually cause further violence against that church. So let me just say, this is a major concern of mine. I know it's a major concern of some members, and I'd be happy to be in touch with you by letter, if you like, as I have with other members on this precise issue.
Well, I appreciate that sentiment, and if we need to dialogue on how to perhaps more creatively assure protections for the communities, but also more fuller integration into civilian political structures, if that's not occurring, I assume there is some movement in that regard. Would you address that as well?
Yes, they are. First of all, local police tend to reflect the community, sort of ethnic or religious composition of local communities. So I don't think it's a local police problem. There have been issues like that in the past. Those issues are getting better. There's no issue that's solved in Iraq. Everything is a sort of labor of love. You keep having to work on it. But certainly there are Christian communities in the Mosul area that continue to be at risk and need to be taken care of. Secondly, with regard to integration in government, I have met with government officials who are from these communities, talk to them about what the challenges are about getting more people from the communities here. I think the Iraqi government, with respect to their civil service, they are open. There's no sort of religious test for becoming a member of the government. One of the big issues, and they gave me quite a history lesson on this, was the actual formation of the various of how the Constitution was set up. There's some people who wanted it to be an Islamic republic, and these minorities were among the people, of course, did not want to see that. So there was quite a push and pull on this issue. So I think it's worked out in terms of their constitutional protection. I think that's okay. But I just want to emphasize a lot of work and a lot of vigilance needs to be continued on this.
Thank you. Mr. Ellison.